Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Inshallah, just a brief thought I wanted to get out there. And there's this major issue with the Ummah, and you have the ability to solve it or play a role in solving it. And no, it's not donations. Don't worry, you're not going to have to spend any money. So that's the good news. But I'll get to it, inshallah, after sharing this very brief story. Several years ago, I think it was maybe about 12 years ago, I was in a masjid, and after the prayer ended, the sheikh got up on the mic and he said, "We're going to have a competition, and it's going to be like an aqidah kind of competition. A competition has to do with ideology, where there's going to be a specific book. It's going to be like 100 pages, 150 pages, and it's going to be mentioned or assigned. And what's going to happen is that specific book, there's going to be like 3 questions based on it. If you solve those 3 questions, you're going to receive some sort of a prize. I don't know how much it was, like $250 or something. It was like first place. So what he was doing was he was announcing this in order to collect money for the first, second, and third prize. And he was like, "Hey folks, whoever would like to donate for this cause, come to me after the end of prayers," and all that. So I went up to him. I was really happy, and I was like, "That's a great idea, because it's something that's going to bring more people to learn about the deen," right? So I went up to him and I was like, "That's a great idea, mashallah, absolutely love it." And then after leaving the masjid, I started telling people about this. And while I was telling people about this, the thought just occurred to me that it's a cash prize to learn about your religion. It's a cash prize to learn about your ideology, a cash prize to learn about your creator and your relationship to your creator. That's really messed up. And then I realized how much I hate the idea. And you're someone who actually adheres to a religion, but someone needs to give you money, a cash prize for you to learn about it. So that's not the solution. I'm against the solution. No one should ever be offering some sort of a prize, some sort of a monetary gain for others to learn their religion. And unfortunately, the vast majority of people, not just Muslims, the vast majority of people in general don't really care enough about the religion that they adhere to actually learn about it, even though most people believe in an afterlife, a heaven and a hell. But they just don't care enough to learn about the religion. So with that in mind, how can you play a role in solving this? Well, if you are someone that actually cares about learning about the religion, and you are someone who actually is learning their religion, then share the information that you're learning. If you go to work with headphones and you're listening to lectures, speak to your coworkers about it. Speak to your friends, speak to family members about it. If you're reading a book, tell people that when you're carrying that book, whether you're at home, outside, a friend's place, books in the car, whatever, tell people, "I'm reading this. This is a really cool book. I'm learning about the Quran through reading about this book. I'm learning about the Seerah through this book." And that's how you get people interested, motivated. Everyone's got to start somewhere. And you may be the trigger to that. You may be the reason why someone begins to start caring about learning. Because a lot of people simply love the deen. They just really appreciate the deen. They feel that they're attached to the religion. But the idea of seeking knowledge is something that hasn't crossed their mind, and they need to see you doing it. So do that. Go out of your way to tell people what you're currently reading or listening to or following, And hopefully that's going to play a role in them doing the same. And there was a time in our history, I believe it was Sulaiman bin Harb. This was in like the 3rd century, and he's in Baghdad. There were about like 40,000 people at his majlis, at his hadith gathering. Can you imagine that? By the way, 40,000, that like fills up, I think, Chelsea's football stadium. So the masses were into learning about the religion. The masses, I'm not speaking about students of knowledge. I'm not speaking about scholars. The masses, the lay person was attending hadith classes. Can you imagine that? Of course, that's in Baghdad. I mean, it's the biggest city in the world at the time. The center of the Muslim world, if not the world in general. But it's still a huge number, 40,000. That's not something that happens today in the majlis of hadith, in the hadith gathering. Despite the populations of Muslims, the population of any religion significantly increasing, but the numbers aren't there. It's because people, even though they are attached to their religion, but they simply don't care enough about their religion to actually spend time learning about it. So that's my solution for the Ummah. And if you're someone, again, who, even if you're not someone who's studying, if you're not someone who's seeking knowledge to that next level, if you're someone who at the moment is entry level or basics level, then take it up a notch. Spend more time learning. It doesn't have to be, you don't have to dedicate yourself to this. Spending 15 minutes a day, reading a book, reading about a field that you're interested in. You don't have to specialize, but read and learn about something that you are interested in. And hopefully with time, it's not just going to be a change within you. Inshallah, it will be a change within your community, those around you, and hopefully we'd see a ripple effect from that. Now, some of you may be asking, but what do I gain from learning about the religion? I know it's a weird question that some may be asking, but very briefly, when it comes to the Quran, learning about the meanings of the message of Allah and His words, subhanahu wa ta'ala, to you and His message to you, that's something that you should be learning about. It's more important than the stuff that you are learning about in university, the tens of hours, the weeks and months that you're putting into that stuff, into secular sciences. Isn't it worth it to learn about the message of God to you? Learning about the message of Islam, learning about the life of the Prophet, peace be upon him, isn't that something worth learning about? His history, his life, his struggles, how his message got to you. Learning about hadith sciences. How do you know what he said in the first place? How do you know what's halal and what's haram? And how does that affect you? What lands you into hellfire? How do you go to heaven? All those things fall under ilm, fall under seeking knowledge. Learn about Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Learn your ideology. What does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala want you to know about Him? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has taught you some things about Him. He put it in His book. He put it in His words. And that was revealed to the Prophet, peace be upon him. And it's something that was taught to you. So imagine the whole community being not just knowledgeable, but being cultured Islamically. That changes Muslims. That changes the community in general. Your worldview changes. The way your mind works changes. The way that you think changes. And I mean, I look back at the person I was and the person I am today, a completely different person, just because I started taking knowledge seriously. And I find the same thing happening to anyone that takes knowledge seriously. So that's my solution to the Ummah for this huge issue that we're currently suffering from, that we're currently going through, this disconnect between us as Muslims and Muslim sciences and Muslim knowledge and Islamic knowledge in general. Barakallahu fikum. Hope you guys enjoyed this one. Share this video with people who you feel are interested in knowledge or interested in getting knowledge out there. Catch you guys in the next one. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.